Hello and welcome to today's Open Gov video where I'll look at the active treasury proposals, but also at the ones in the discussion post, which have just been recently raised in the last 7 days, so we can find out what's coming up and what new initiatives are going to be requesting funding from the Polkadot Treasury. So let's get started here with the discussions. First of all, we've got the most recent one here, discussion 1946 on Polk Assembly here by TrackingChain to bring adoption to companies building infrastructure for Web 2 integration, and they're looking for a big tipper here, as we can see. This is actually by Federico Cicciarella. He's Italian and he has posted his LinkedIn profile here with his experience. I have checked it out, by the way. You can also click on this and see. And he's been a Microsoft C# developer for 20 years. In the recent years, his passion has shifted towards blockchain tech, and he's specifically focusing on the Polkadot ecosystem. So he has received a grant by the Web3 Foundation before, and he has delivered an app called TrackingChain. And now he's looking for 1,000 DOT, which is worth around 4,500. It's actually less now. It's worth around $3,700 for the last 3 months. And the reason he's looking for this funding is to complete the last milestone, which is milestone 4, because he has already completed milestones 1, 2, 3, which have been funded by the Web3 Foundation. So ultimately what he's trying to do here is to connect Web 2 to Web 3 through an app. So here you can see what are the funds going to be allocated to. So travel and meetings with potential clients, server costs for demos, customization of the software to integrate it with the customer software as well. So the idea here is that he's going to try to bridge that gap between Web 2 and Web 3. Now we have seen projects already doing that, such as Fala Network with their FAT contract. If you've been watching this channel, you're likely familiar with that. But it is nice to see other teams come up with this initiative. In this case, one individual, one developer. So here you could see what he's planning to do in the proposal. So his plan is to create an endpoint that can be accessed from Web 2 exclusively, responsible for collecting the data values to be inserted into a smart contract. Currently, he's focusing on storing key value pairs. However, he intends to dynamically handle more complex cases in the future. This way, the Web 2 user will be relieved of any concerns regarding the bottleneck presented by the blockchain, as their task will already be completed, which he addresses through the bridge development. So that's the idea here. It does contain 9 microservices as well. So he's done quite a lot of work on this. I'm not going to go into all the details because it is quite a long one, but ultimately he's going to try and bridge Web 2 to Web 3 through smart contracts and using that cool app that he's building. Now let's move on and talk about the next one here. This is post 1945 by the Ajuna network team, and this is for the Polkadot Unity SDK proposal part 2. We have spoken about part 1 already. I've also been speaking about this in a deep dive with Adam, my co-host from DotTake on our live stream. This was in episode 2 of the live stream. If you haven't already watched it, please do check that out. But ultimately, this is a continuation of that. So if they get the funding from part 1 to be able to list the Polkadot Unity SDK on Unity's asset store, then they want to continue with more funding in order to market the SDK, because how many people are going to find out about an SDK if it's not known? So the idea here is that they're going to request a marketing budget, and this is going to be for $255,000. This is the too long didn't read version. Okay, background, collaboration, funding request. So now let's look at how this is going to be split here. So he's saying that he's got $85,000 reserved for the marketing budget, and the goal here is to secure game studio partnerships for launching on Polkadot by showcasing the platform's value proposition. Also the approach, no static booth at events. The tasks, identify game studio decision makers. 15,000 for 1 year for the BGA Gold member. This is the Blockchain Game Alliance, which is the largest and most active DAO Web3 gaming. Also for the Game Developer Conference in North America, 20,000 for that as well. This is in order to speak there, I guess, at that conference, right? And this includes only tickets and travel expenses. GamesCon, $10,000 as well. Which is the premier gaming event in the EU. Tokyo Game Show Japan, $10,000 for that as well. Middle East Gaming, $10,000 for that. And LATAM, $10,000 for that as well, the big festival. So they're really trying to spread the word here. And also for the Sub-Zero Gaming vertical, they're allocating $10,000 for that as well. And then for tutorials, tooling, and education, $50,000. As you can see here, the Polkadot Academy is going to get $20,000. Industry-leading Polkadot Unity SDK documentation is $5,000. Gaming in Polkadot video series up to $25,000, showcasing the advantages of the SDK compared to the competition, which is awesome. Branding of the ecosystem for gaming, leveraging BGA and the Unity in the ecosystem to point to the gold membership and on the verified solution for Unity on every parachain website. And then there's the caretaker and Polkadot Unity SDK advocate. They're allocating $120K for this. And this is for stakeholder management amongst the gaming vertical and coordinate efforts, represent and lead GDC, Gamescom, and regional events, capitalize on the BGA Gold membership, identify and recruit a Polkadot Unity SDK advocate for the technical outreach. So yeah, as you can see, they're really setting everything up here for making sure that this SDK is going to get marketed as much as possible and it doesn't just sit there on the Unity Asset Hub, which is awesome to see. Of course, I am in support of this proposal, no doubt about it. I've already been mentioning that with part one as well. I think this is important, to make people aware of what's going to happen. So we'll have to see if there will also be a part 3, but I don't believe so. I think this should be enough, at least for now. That's what I'm assuming. Now, the next post here is 1944, a retroactive tip for the Polkadot booth at Hacktivity Security Festival 2023. And this was the event that took place between the 5th and 6th of October. And they're looking for $1,500 here. And by the way, 6 is the head ambassador for Eastern Europe. Okay, when it comes to Polkadot. Now, this year marked the 20th Jubilee edition, and a group of Polkadot ambassadors, namely 6, Gabo and Victor, managed to attend and represent Polkadot with a booth at the 2-day-long event. Hacktivity is the biggest information security event of its kind in Central and Eastern Europe. About 1,300 visitors came from all around the globe every year to learn more about the latest trends of cybersecurity, get inspired by people with similar interests, and develop themselves via presentations and comprehensive workshop sessions. Many Rust developers, hackers, and enthusiasts are present on each event. This is why we decided to bring Polkadot there as the Web3 flagship event. So as you can see here, Polkadot Hungary and ETH Hungary were the only ones that were represented at the event. By the way, he made a mistake here. He wrote Polkadot Hungary twice, once here and again here. So they even had t-shirts from .Prague at this event, which they gave away. And the Polkadot team was delighted to see their swag distributed to people, which helped raise awareness for Polkadot and their project as well. Yeah, I mean, they're only looking for this much, for 1,500 is not even a lot, but this is for the 25 hours that have been dedicated per ambassador for this 2-day event. Now let's talk about the next post here. This is post 1943. Raised by Tribe AngelHack for Polkadot Relayers 2023 Milestone 2. And they're looking for $99,000 for this second milestone. And this is to seek reimbursement for distributing and approved travel grants from their previously approved Relayers proposal to the respective parties that have fulfilled the eligibility requirements. In July 2023, the Polkadot Relayers was approved on Open Gov. And this is the second milestone of the proposal to fulfill the in-person itinerary that the Relayers program was approved for. So again, this is an early stage incubator program that seeks to grow talented builders in their endeavor and build dApps on Polkadot's parachains. The inaugural launch of the Polkadot Relayers took place last year in 2022 and was successful in accomplishing its initial objective of bringing together developers and entrepreneurs, as well as providing individuals with a platform to actualize their innovative ideas. So it's definitely great to see this. Of course, I'm in support of this proposal. It is retroactive. They have spent money from their own pockets for this. And again, this is a bit risky, to be fair. I've always said this in every other video, that when you're seeking retroactive funding, especially for hackathons, for events like these, where you're trying to bring developers, you're trying to grow the ecosystem, there's always that chance that you're not going to get enough support, depending on how those voters feel. Right? And if you don't get that support, what does that mean? Will it cause some kind of negative connotation towards you? Will you be making noise on social media as well? Because this can happen, right? We have seen this happen, unfortunately. And this is the risk with retroactive funding. And this is why I'm more in favor of upfront funding, especially if you've got some sort of reputation. And in this case, they do have reputation because they have delivered milestone 1. They could have just asked for milestone 2 funding as soon as before actually beginning work on this, just to avoid the hassle here, because we're talking about $100,000 worth of DOT here. So there is that risk that it may not pass, but I do hope the best for the team and that it will pass. Let's look at the next post here, and this is post 1942, activation and retention of developers in Turkey and India for the Polkadot ecosystem. Now this is an interesting one here because this is a company called Rise In, and I think IN stands for India here, to onboard Web2 developers into Web3 with free of charge structured bootcamps, courses, and career and venture building opportunities. They have 200,000 plus Web2 developers on their platform, with 20,000 of them joining the Web3 programs that we carry out in partnership with leading Web3 protocols and ecosystems. So this year they're just looking to grow that Polkadot bootcamp in Turkey and also in India. So they have a specific curriculum that they're using here in this bootcamp with events and hackathons to be able to bring these developers on board, which is great here. And if you look at their website, this is their website, Rise In. Okay, so learn Web3 and build products together. Start your Web3 career with free programs. More than 20,000 developers in the community. Trusted partner of top Web3 ecosystems. So Solana, Polkadot, Near, PariHub, AK Bank, Sui as well, Chile's Internet Computer Protocol. So there's quite a lot of support here, BNB Chain as well. It's not just for Polkadot. Again, this is all about Web3, but they are looking to expand into Polkadot as well. So yeah, I mean, we don't know how much they're asking for here. By the way, I had a look at the proposal. I just couldn't find any amounts in this proposal. They're just talking about the course and what they're planning to do. So we'll have to see if they're going to ask for anything, if they're even going to launch this on chain, or is this just a case of getting the feedback from the community to see what the community says. And then they're maybe going to ask for some funding to be able to kick this off. I'm assuming this is the case, or maybe they're just going to update their proposal and they're going to ask for funding. So we'll have to see how that goes. Now looking at the next post here, this is 1938 Polkadot Sanctuary. This is for retroactive funding as well, also created by head ambassador for Eastern Europe 6. And this is something that we have seen in the past. So it's because that last proposal failed. They're trying again. And also what's different with this proposal is that the intention is not to seek funding for a physical hub or contribute to its sustainability. The purpose of this proposal is to request retroactive funding for their dedicated time and efforts to work in showcasing and sharing this research as a case study with the broader community. So it's pretty obvious here that, they're not going to try to continue getting funding for this from the Treasury to continue pushing it. They're just seeing this as something that is self-sustainable. As you can see here, they have demonstrated that it is a self-sustainable physical hub. And so, they just want funding for their own time here. So yes, I am in support of this, of course, because they have spent that time. It makes sense. And if you are interested to find out how much they're looking for, it's $28,000. Worth $6,885 here at the time when they raised this. Okay, now let's move on and talk about the active referenda. All right, let's look at the active referendums right now, the ones that you can vote on chain. Referendum 185 is the first one we're going to look at here, raised by OneBlock for the Polkadot Hackathon 2023 winter in Hong Kong. They're looking for $90,540 for this. And there are still 24 days left before decision, and they're currently losing with $1.8 million in A votes, 220.5K in I votes. So quite a nasty fall here for this team. Again, plenty of time left, so it's hard to say, but they're looking for $368,499 worth of DOT at the time of raising this proposal. It has dropped quite a bit now because, as we know, the price has dropped a bit with the market. But ultimately, OneBlock is in collaboration with Party Asia, successfully organized, operated, and promoted the 5 hackathon competitions: Spring 2021 Shanghai, Summer 2021 Hangzhou, Summer 22 Hangzhou, the Winter 2022 Chengdu, and the 2023 Shanghai, with over 200 teams and 800 developers signing up to participate. So now they're just looking to launch one more event. And yeah, it's not being well received here because the community doesn't want to spend more funds on these events, on these hackathons. They're thinking that these hackathons are not bringing enough value in the bear market, right? Because there are just too many of them, right? So we got to focus on the few. I'm thinking the Polkadot Blockchain Academy may be good enough, right? Because that is big. It's using the Polkadot name. A lot of funding is going into that. And even that's getting a lot of heat as well, and a lot of pressure in the comments and, in communities. So as you can imagine here, with other hackathons that had been funded before, they're not gonna have it easy going forward. At least this is my take on it from reviewing all these different proposals. And so OneBlock is definitely facing the pressure here. And you can see one comment from this person here. And by the way, this person has been commenting on a lot of these proposals, complaining about them, right? They don't want to spend the treasury. So it could just be a troll. We can't take everything serious here. You know, some comments are just purely trolls. Not everybody is 100% legit here and has good intentions. But in this case, he's saying here, how much value do all hackathons in China create for Polkadot in history? How many projects have created value for Polkadot? If there's almost no, then they should not be supported through this expenditure. So, you know, the question is, did this create value? I think it did create value, right? But given it is a bear market, they are treating this as a no-go, you know, because they don't believe that the funding that's being spent towards this is bringing enough value, even though it could bring developers, right? At the end of the day, you're shutting down the opportunity to hire a developer in the eco who's going to be building something cool, right? So yeah, that's the risk we're having with these. Let's move on and talk about referendum 186 here for public or PC services for Polkadot, including the common chains in Q3 of 2023. Again, this is retroactive funding here by Stakeworld. I actually spoke about these guys who run an RPC provider for Kusama as well, but they are looking for only 1,711 dots, so very, very low amount here. And this is just to maintain the public RPC services. They're going to fund it themselves. That's the way I see it, you know, and then they're just going to look for that retroactive funding every quarter. So here they're saying that they have served 117,144,567 common chains and Polkadot RPC requests. So that is a lot, right? And yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious here that Stakeworld is doing a good job and they are getting this funding. It's a small request, a small price to pay for offering their services for the community. And we do know how important RPC providers are now, because that means distributing the requests. If you don't have enough RPC nodes, that means that the ones that are there are going to be the bottleneck, because they could be slower, you know, it could take you a while before your accounts load up. And this is only for a regular user, but remember that developers are using these as well for requests. So being slow means that it could also impact the parachains themselves. But they're doing very well here with $1.5 million in I votes and 45k in knee votes. Here there is no comment. Let's move on and talk about the next one here by EncodeClub. This is referendum 187 requesting 12,091.65 dots. They haven't added the decision deposit yet. You could see here it even tells you on Polk Assembly as well. But yeah, it's not doing great. I mean, they already got 957.3k in knees, only 10k in eyes here. But again, it is at the beginning. So the EncodeClub and Polkadot initiative employs a three-part strategy: an educational series, dedicated hackathons, both virtual and in person, and a specialized accelerator. The proposal was spread across 5 funding tranches, each fund focused on different aspects of the program, as agreed by the Treasury in our initial proposal. The report provides an overview of our progress on the Encode Polkadot Spring Hackathon and Polkadot Decoded Hackathon, and requests funding for the following, which consists of £10,000 in DOT for hackathon prizes. Also funding for running the third online hackathon, which is £15,000 in DOT. And funding for running the accelerator, which is also £15,000 in DOT. And the funding requests amount to a total of £40,000 in DOT. Now, they propose utilizing the funding allocated for the fourth tranche, scheduled for Q4 of 2023 from the initial agreement. I mean, they've posted a whole structure here of the Polkadot Accelerator program and how it's going to work, but they're not getting any love here. Anna L from Party just reminding them that they need to add the decision deposit, but yeah, nothing so far. I mean, it is very early here. Again, it just goes back to what I was saying earlier, you know, Polkadot Blockchain Academy is likely going to continue getting funding, even though they're facing a lot of heat, a lot of pressure from the community. Whereas these other hackathon initiatives may face a lot of pressure, which is going to put them in a position where they may just need to stop doing hackathons, at least for now. Now, I have spoken about the referendum 188 before. It wasn't a referendum, it was in discussions, and this is Ellipal self-custody cold wallet. They basically want to add a number of coins from the ecosystem in order to offer staking services. So they're looking for 33,943 DOT for that. And again, I have been speaking about this wallet. I just wanted to quickly show you again that it is a hardware wallet. I hadn't heard about this before, but apparently it is on the Forbes Advisor Best of 2022. Again, I am only familiar with Ledger and the Trezor, which are the top 2 hardware wallets in the ecosystem. So yeah, it's not doing great here. 982.3k in knee votes, 88.1k in I votes here. So yeah. Again, that person that has commented on the other proposal is saying here, we have the Polkadot Vault already. It's super. If you need to do this, please use your own money. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's not going great for this team here. And they may not get this funding. They may not get this funding, which means no integration with Ellipal. Looking at the next referendum here, referendum 189 by the Blockcoders team for Kuma Wallet Milestone 5. They're looking for 9,452 DOT here. This is how Kuma Wallet looks. I haven't personally downloaded this, but apparently this is going to cover subquery integration, a fiat on and off ramp, with Transact, also cross-chain swaps with Hydra DX Omnipool, and community requested feature support from the last 4 months. Kuma Wallet is making it easy to manage and transfer tokens between relayers and parachains, but built with the user experience in mind. So yeah, these are the features. This is how it looks here. And you can see these are the number of users that are using them. So over 750 users here are using them, as you can see here. Since they have launched this platform, and these are all the different features that they're offering. And one of the comments here is by Christian, who's saying swapping cross-chain feature is interesting. I don't think there is a wallet on Polkadot that has swapping, and this can be a good differentiator. But aside from this, there isn't anything that's not already been offered by Nova Wallet, for example, right? So, but anyway, like this does look cool. Like if you look at this website here, it looks pretty simple, straightforward to use. This is how you can see your portfolio or balances, right? Is user friendly. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind supporting this team. More wallets can't really hurt as long as there is something special, something different being offered, because there are already quite a lot of wallets, to be fair. But yeah, again, I don't mind this specific proposal. It is currently losing though. It's 772k in knee votes and only 22.4k in I votes, so it's not doing great, but many things could happen. It has just recently been added now. As you can see, it's only on day 1 out of 28. Let's move on to the next one here, and this is with a tip request. Referendum 190, recognizing Alice and Bob and stake on DOT. And this is a tip request on the small tipper track requested by Ivy himself. We have been speaking about Ivy quite a lot. Apparently, it's not just a one person. It's a group of individuals, but there's obviously one person who's always commenting. I think it's just one person, but they got a lot of delegations. They're requesting 250 DOT for tipping Alice and Bob for their consistent high brain bull posting. Polkadot's amazing value proposition. So basically, this is the tip here that they want to support Alice and Bob with. Now it's for stake on DOT. Decentralized governance is a beautiful concept as it allows actors to coordinate efforts and signal initiatives, and the Polkadot 2.0 era has introduced the most advanced decentralized governance framework in Web3, effectively creating the largest functioning DAO. We propose coordinating the campaign Stake on DOT. We invite and support everyone in Polkadot to rally around promoting the Polkadot staking narrative or embrace one of the other hype bullish ecosystem themes. Let it rain passive income. So yeah, just to promote in this campaign to get you to stake basically that DOT. It is unfortunate, but the unlock is coming. So we're not expecting, at least like from looking at the history with what happened with Kusama, and I said this in the other video as well, we are not expecting a massive market effect necessarily if it's going to follow the same pattern as with Kusama, because we hadn't seen that with Kusama. But again, it's hard to say and people are afraid, so that's why we're getting this campaign now. So we'll have to see if this is going to work out. Let's talk about the next referendum here. Referendum 191, Polkadot RPC services. This is a retroactive request by Dweller for Q3 of 2023, requesting 4,774.6 DOT here for this initiative. And this is a video presentation of the proposal if you watch the video there. The TLDR is that during Q3, we served more than 840 million RPC requests for the Polkadot communities, including Asset Hub and West End. These services were seamlessly provided using our decentralized bare metal infrastructure located in both Sweden and Tunisia, with all operational data transparently available at statsdweller.app. Our commitment remains firm, offering top-tier decentralized RPC services at an equitable price. So this is the report from Q3 of 2023. With the number of requests, and yeah, that's the full proposal there. We're not seeing any comments here. Again, it is very early, day 1 out of 28 here, and it is passing with 1.1 million DOT in I votes and only 81.4k in knee votes here for this small amount raised by Gustav. So again, I am in support of this. I think RPC services are needed, because ever since I've had that conversation on Dot Take with Adam, you know, he opened my mind about the necessity of RPC services. So let's talk about the next one here. This is pretty much a scam, let's face it, right? Unvalidated account creating the Polkadot Accelerator fund. I have spoken about this, by the way. I don't know why I'm going back to this, but I just want to reiterate here a specific message from Bill Laboon, the director of the Web3 Foundation, looking for 425,660 DOT. I mean, seriously, come on. I mean, you've got no reputation in the ecosystem. You claim to be this individual. You wrote a really detailed proposal here, and you're looking to invest the treasury money and then to send that money back to the treasury after you invested in pre-seed and seed. You know, it's crazy. It just doesn't seem like, and you can see like this is, you know, the community can be fooled here. And I don't know, they tried their luck with this, but it's not working out. 0 DOT here with eyes, 543.3k DOT in knees. So yeah, absolutely getting destroyed here. I mean, we've read these comments before when I was looking at it during the discussion stage, but one of the new ones here, they've even replied back to me here with the feedback if you want to check it out. But this is the one that I want to talk about here by Bill Laboon. Let's go down. This referendum was submitted by an account without an identity, let alone a verified one, and doesn't give any real names and seems very hesitant to release this information. There's no record or even claim, as far as I can see, of previous work in the Polkadot ecosystem. The submitting account, the only real information I can glean from this submission, has submitted only 13 extrinsics with only one governance vote in its history, and that was yesterday. Without more information, asking for 425.6k DOT seems gracious. I realize this is blunt, but I want to explain my thinking here. I have to vote with heavy conviction against it. And yeah, Bill Laboon here speaking his mind. And I mean, this is true, right? You gotta say what you gotta say here, especially when something is so fishy. And sorry guys, but you are just trying to scam the treasury here. You need to come out clean here, request a decent amount, come up with a better plan. You've got no reputation in the ecosystem. Nobody's gonna fund you, right? Nobody's gonna give you free money. So yeah, you got to put in the work before you ask. And that's the real truth here, that you're not going to get anywhere else. If you don't want to listen to this, that's fine. But yeah, let's look at the current referendums here. Now, I have been speaking about a lot of these, as you've seen, but there are some that there was no point for me to look at again because I've mentioned them in the last discussions video. And so I'm just going to go through a quick rundown here of the current state of the referendums. We've got a small tipper here by Ivy, which I've already mentioned earlier. So it is passing with 1.17 million in I votes. Still 5 days and 11 hours left. Referendum 190. The big tipper, one referendum 184 by Max from CryptoZilla for the content creation. He is not doing too good, but he's not doing too bad either. But there's still only 2 days and 4 hours left, so it doesn't look good here for Max, unfortunately. It wasn't even a big request, and I'm really sad for this because he has been contributing to the Polkadot ecosystem with YouTube videos for quite some time. It doesn't look like this is going to pass, unfortunately, unless something changes last minute, and I hope it does for him. But 840k in I votes, 1.13 million in E votes here. On the small spender track, referendum 167 by Polkascan, it is going to end in 15 days and 5 hours. They're currently losing with 9.1 million in knee votes, 4.5 million in I votes. Referendum 168 by Patrice on the Tendencies Crypto. This is for the French media, and it's more for like setting up like a French media hub, not necessarily YouTube videos. Okay, it's just for articles and translations, and also on X. They're also losing, but they got 6.5 million in I votes. And the last time I looked at this, it wasn't doing too great. I was, I think, the first one that has I voted Patrice. So it's nice to see that he's getting more support now. 10.8 million in E votes though. So it doesn't look like this is going to pass either, but many things could happen given that there are still just over 2 weeks left. Coincider here, referendum 170. 16 days and 8 hours left. It's also for media. 10.16 million in I votes, 10.5 million in E votes. And by the way, Coincider, Kevin from Coincider is going to make a show up on the AEG live stream on the Kusumerian channel if you want to check it out today. I think it should be at 3:30 p.m. UTC, so make sure to tune into that. I'm also going to tune in there because I'm curious to hear Kevin speak out to the crowd. He's going to get asked questions there to confirm as to what he's going to do, how he's going to create those 3 videos, you know, what is the plan forward for those. Hopefully to bring more attention to the eco, because that's really the reason why he created this, you know. But it's going to be interesting to hear what questions they might ask him, and if it's going to be positive or negative. But so far, I mean, it's very, very tight here. I mean, it could pass. Many things could happen. Again, 16 days and 8 hours left, but we'll see. Referendum 186 here by Stakeworld, which I spoke about, still has 24 days and 10 hours left. It's passing right now with 1.5 million I votes, 45k knee votes. Referendum 191 by Gustav, 27 days and 9 minutes left, 1.2 million I votes, 81.4k knee votes. Referendum 189 by Blockcoders, 27 days and 34 minutes left. It's currently losing with 809.7k in knee votes, 24.6k in I votes. And on the medium spender track, we got Referendum 154 by parachains.info, again a website which I personally use quite a lot in my videos, especially the news videos, right? I've been using them since 2021 when I used to cover the Kusama parachain auction. So $3.06 million in I votes, 10.7 million in E votes. It is losing, only 4 days and 4 hours left. It's unfortunate. It looks like people want to see parachains.info shut down. It's sad, but that is the reality. Referendum 159 here. This is for the proposing a curator for a bounties by Frankie Wild. It's passing, 21 hours and 2 minutes left. 6.7 million in I votes, 1.57 million in E votes. Referendum 160 by the Web3 education platform, and this is for the Chinese media. It's getting a lot of pressure here, as you can see. It's got 12.9 million in I votes and 11.9 million in knee votes, so not doing great here. Referendum 162 by JK Tower, 12 days and 20 hours left with 15.9 million in I votes, 1.68 million in knee votes. Referendum 163 by Zixi Interlay here to approve the bounty. It's failing with 3.05 million in I votes, 11.46 million in knee votes, 13 days and 4 hours left. And also referendum 165 by Motive Network, 14 days and 7 hours left. It's also failing with 11.5 million in knee votes, 5.4 million in I votes. Referendum 172 by Open Square, it's got 17 days and 18 hours left. It's failing with 11.3 million in knee votes, 5.9 million in I votes. And referendum 175 by Day7 from Nova Wallet. It's got 18 days and 14 hours left, and it's passing with 8.4 million in I votes and 2.11 million in knee votes. Referendum 177 by Ajuna Network, 19 days and 10 hours left. It's heavily passing with 20.2 million in I votes, 1.52 million in knee votes. And referendum 178 by Dotleap, and this is one that we're going to talk about tomorrow on Take as well. This is a big one. It's created by Bruno, founder of Remark. He's stepping away from Remark, handling responsibility to the team over there. Apparently they don't need him anymore, or he's not needed. And so he's going to focus on Leap, which is a media platform. It's a website, but apparently he's also going to be creating videos regarding governance, regarding helping the ecosystem. 20 days and 1 hour left. It's currently passing with 5.4 million in I votes, 1.5 million in knee votes. Referendum 180 by the Polkadot Foundation, 21 days and 5 hours left, 1.48 million in I votes and 1.24 million in knee votes. So it is currently passing. But it's very, very close, so many things could happen. Referendum 181 by Valley Tech. It's got 21 days and 6 hours left, 1.45 million in I votes and 1.28 million in knee votes. And then referendum 183 by Polka Assembly. 23 days and 3 hours left. It's passing as well, 11.28 million in I votes, 795.1k in knee votes. Referendum 185 by OneBlock, 24 days and 2 hours left. 220.4k in I votes and 1.76 million in knee votes, which means it's gonna fail, or maybe it's gonna fail. Many things could happen. Again, 1.7 million is not that much anymore when there's still 24 days left. Referendum 188 by the anonymous 12ORP address. Okay, 26 days and 20 hours left. It's failing with 997.98k in knee votes and 88k in I votes. Referendum 187 by EncodeClub, which is still in preparing right now. It's failing with 973.5k in knee votes and 10k in I votes. And looking at the big spender, we got the Agile one, which is to approve the bounty. It's failing with 36 million.13 in knee votes and 1.47 million in I votes. Still 13 hours and 29 minutes left. Referendum 157 by Tobias for the airdrop campaign. 5 days and 19 hours left. It's currently failing with 28 million.99 in I votes and 55.5 million in knee votes. Referendum 161 by Matthias from Apelon. Still 12 days and 6 hours left. His referendum is currently failing as well with 2.67 million in knee votes, 1.15 in I votes. Referendum 179 by FinOps, 20 days and 9 hours left. 6.14 million in I votes, 1.72 million in E votes. Then referendum 192 by an anonymous person as well. 27 days and 16 hours left. It's currently failing with 814.7k in A votes, 37k in I votes. There we have it. That's the situation with the voting status right now. And the treasury, we still got 44.45 million DOT, which is worth approximately $162.6 million to be awarded 195k for proposals, and 444.5k is going to get burned, so quite a lot. And the spend period is still 19 days and 15 hours out of 24 days, so it's not going to happen until Halloween day. So it's going to be a Halloween surprise. We're going to see a lot of funding being sent on Halloween day to people, and then it's going to reset. So then we're going to need to wait until November before we'll get the next payout. So that was it from today's video regarding the active referendums in OpenGov and also the discussions. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think of the funding requests so far? Do you think they're being fair? Do you think there's a lot of unfair ones? Do you think the voters are being fair with the way they're voting? Let me know. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.